Welcome to Empower Half Hour, a podcast presented by Scope Disability Services, where we don't just tell stories, we share journeys. Journeys of resilience, belonging, and thriving in a world where we believe in inclusivity and accessibility. So lean in, listen closely, and be part of the journey. Because when we share stories, we inspire and empower everyone.
G'day folks, and welcome to today's episode of the Empower Half Hour. I am Zane McKenzie, Inclusion and Belonging Manager here at Scope, and I'll be your host for today. In this episode, we're going to be talking about supported independent living and what it really looks like on a day-to-day basis. How our new homes are supporting people to live more independently. And to be part of this conversation, I'm joined today by two absolutely fantastic guests. Anna McDonald-Johnson, who is one of our wonderful operations managers at Scope. And Anna works closely with Eric, who is one of our supported independent living clients living in the Pascoe Vale area. And Eric has told me it's a brand spanking new home. So I'm really looking forward to today's discussion. And thank you both for being here with me today, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
I guess, Anna, the right place to start would probably be with you. You support, as I understand it, a number of SIL homes.
Correct.
What does a typical day at work look like for you?
Oh, God, that changes every day. The thing about our work is that we're working with people, so people don't do the same thing every day. So my job changes with each day. It could be I'll be out in a home, spending the day with the staff and the residents out at the homes, or I could be in the office supporting them to connect with service providers and supporting them in every day-to-day life and making sure that their needs are met. I support the staff to make sure that the service that they're providing is meaningful for our residents to belong and thrive, in the community. We work closely with families, so I could be meeting with families, doing care team meetings with people that are involved in the person's circle, so such as support coordinators, OTs, people who are in the finance side of things, figuring out what their funding is. It's diverse. It's diverse. And like I said, it changes every day. And I think that's why I really like this position that I'm currently in, because it is so different every day.
It sounds like you've got a really, really interesting role. And obviously you cover a lot of different things in your work. So undoubtedly there'd never be a dull moment.
No, never.
I'm really curious to know, though, supported independent living is obviously a really, really important service that we provide at Scope. And I'm curious to know about the people side of it. So when someone like Eric does move in to one of our homes, what is it that you're noticing and sort of looking for straight away to start building those connections that you spoke with and spoke about?
So it's building their capacity. It's building their trust and supporting them to understand this is their new environment. It was a really big move for the residents. They'd been living there for a long, long time. Yeah. And, you expressed things to me, didn't you, Eric, about how nervous you were about moving into the new home. Yeah. But what we noticed is that with the support of the staff, we supported them to feel comfortable, and really engaging with everybody about this is their new home. And I noticed that the difference now is that they have a lot of pride in their home. So when people visit, I come to the house and Eric wants to show me around. He really enjoys the new environment. And it's about how, on the day, we were very worried about how they would feel and how comfortable you would feel, didn't we, Eric? But Eric walked in, sat on the couch, turned the telly on, made himself a cup of coffee and went, yep, this is my place, you know. So it was really good to see. Others have taken a bit longer to settle in. We had one gentleman that he wouldn't get out of the car to start off with. Took him a couple of hours to get out of the car. But now we have no issues with that. You know, we slowly encouraged him, this is your new home. We bought out some things that belonged to him to show him that this was his home. So it's about supporting people on their own, with their own needs, you know, and supporting them with a way that they understand and encouraging.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. I think you've made some really good points there. And one thing that stands out to me is that experience would be different for every person, and the way that, you know, the way that they feel about it, the way they adapt to the new environment would be different for any of us. Eric, how long have you lived in a scope home?
It's a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
But you've just moved into a new home now. Eh?
Yeah.
And do you enjoy your new home?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
No, we just sit down and have tea, you know, and watch the television.
Oh, you like watching a bit of telly?
Yeah.
Have you got a fancy one in the new place?
Yeah.
That's good. Is it up on the wall?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love those setups. We'll talk a bit more about what's in your home and what you enjoy as we go on. But before we get to that, I just want to ask you another couple of questions, Anna, if I can. Because there's a few things that I reckon would be good to cover off for our listeners. When people think about supported independent living as a service or as a model, is there anything you think that we might often misunderstand if we don't know it really well?
I don't think people within the community who don't understand what supported independent living is have a bit of a misunderstanding of what we do. I suppose in the community a lot of people would see the disability and not the person. I don't think they really understand who we are and what we do, how we create an environment for people to belong and thrive. I don't think they would understand the level of supports that we give people. People in the community wouldn't understand that a lot. I think, but what we're doing now is that with people interacting and with community participation, people are out there making friendships and memories with people in the community, such as, for example, where the guys live now, there's a coffee shop out there very close to their home. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the staff and the residents making that connection and going down there on a regular basis and creating those relationships so people within the community understand who we are and what we do, you know, and about who these gentlemen are and making those positive relationships.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I don't know about you, Eric, but I love a cup of coffee. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't move anywhere where there wasn't a good cup of coffee that I could go and buy. Tell me, before you were living in a scope house, you lived with your aunt and uncle, is that right?
Yeah, they all passed away though.
Oh, they passed away?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah.
But so now you live in a scope home.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned to me before, off the air, that when you first moved, you were a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what about now? Are you still nervous, or are you happy?
No, I'm happy at that age, you know.
Is that because of the coffee shop?
Yeah.
What about your housemates? Do they make you happy?
Yeah.
Not too many arguments?
Yeah. No.
Oh, good. Yeah, fantastic. And so, thinking about the misconceptions that you spoke to Anna about what people think of when they think about SIL, one of the things that I think often confuses people, and it even confused me for a time was when we think about those supports that SIL covers that you spoke about and all those connections, one of the terms that often I feel gets confused is the SDA one, or the Specialist Disability Accommodation. Can you, for the benefit of everyone listening, can you sort of explain for us the difference between the two?
Absolutely. So the SDA is the bricks and mortar, as we say. The SDA is the building where people live, and that's funded by the NDIS part of it, and the residents also pay a component of rent as well. So the SDA is, it depends on the person's needs. So there's various different levels of SDA. There's improved livability, robust, people who need higher support needs. So there's about 3 or 4 different sorts of levels of the SDA. The difference between the SIL and the SDA is the SIL is the supported independent living, and that's who Scope are. So the SDAs are usually owned by a different entity. You know, we have Homes Vic, and we have other various different organisations that own the homes.
Yep.
The SIL component is where the support services come in for the residents. So that's us. So the SIL supports is about what sort of level of supports and what kind of things each individual needs. You know, some people might need modern, technology to help them live day to day and to support them with accessing the community, either a wheelchair or they need hoisting. You have people who are more independent, and that's where we support people to in their daily life and support them in their daily tasks, personal tasks like showering and getting dressed and helping them around the house, and that's where the SIL component comes in. But it's very, very vast. Our roles and responsibilities within the home under SIL cover everything from, medical appointments to supporting people, to supporting their plans, helping them to meet their goals in plannings and PCPs, which is person-centred support. So it's very vast and very wide, and it all depends on the individual person's needs.
Thank you so much for explaining those differences. That's really helpful, even for me as somebody who works at Scope and understands that there is that difference. It's often difficult to know what falls under what. And so just to follow up on that and dig into it a bit more, in terms of the SDA, or the bricks and mortar, as you say, what does the NDIS actually fund in terms of the home for people with disability?
Well, it depends on each person. So when people come into our homes, they need to have SDA funding in their NDIS plans. People need to have assessments and everything completed for the NDIS to make the decision of what funding that they provide.
So a bit like the support itself that we provide, the SDA is not a one-size-fits-all. It looks different in every situation.
Absolutely.
And when you think about the supported independent living support itself, as you said before, the work that we do, you mentioned that is very vast, and I think you gave some really good examples before about the type of support that can be offered. So I guess as a follow-up to that, how do we sort of ensure that we match the right people to the right support and the right environment? Like, what support do we give to people to know that they're going to receive the type of support that they want living where they live?
We ensure that by making sure that, for example, they need the NDIS funding to be able to receive those supports. So when people move into our homes again, they need to have probably functional capacity assessments, and that shows us what sort of supports that they need. Every person's different. Some people might need a higher level of support, such as 1-to-1 support or 1-to-5. And it's important that we make sure that they have those. We make sure that once we have the funding, we employ very good staff, that we find people who have the same sort of work ethics that, Scope want to provide to our residents, to belong and thrive, and empowering people to have choice and control over their lives. And that's where the NDIS are very important, to provide that funding so people can have that choice and control of where they live, who they live with, the supports that they need, and being able to find a service that will provide those supports that they need and that they get to choose that.
Yeah, that's great, Anna. And when we talk about the support that SIL does provide, I think you mentioned before that it can be anything from, support to attend appointments and personal care and all those things that we would imagine people might need support with. Was there anything in terms of those supports, though, that you wanted to highlight that you think maybe people wouldn't be as aware of, but actually forms a really important part of SIL?
So we do things like, for example, a day-to-day life of a person would be being supported to get up and shower, to support them to have their breakfast, but also the main word there is support, not do.
Yeah, absolutely.
The main word is support. We're there to support people, not do it for them, to the best of their ability. We work alongside them.
That's a wonderful point, Anna. And I want to ask you a couple of questions about that just now, if I can, Eric. So when you think about your home, does it feel like your home?
Yeah.
And when we think about what Anna was just talking about, do you get to choose what you do?
Yeah.
Do you get to choose every day?
Yeah.
All the time or just sometimes?
Yeah, it's all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. See, I wish I could say that. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've got one more question for you, Anna, that I really want to ask. And this was one I came up with yesterday, so I apologise for the short notice on that. I'm really aware of the fact that, as Eric has just said beautifully, our clients' homes are their homes.
Correct.
First and foremost, that is what they are.
Absolutely.
But they are also a workplace for the people who work in them and support our clients. How do we as an organisation get that balance right when it is a workplace? Because it's a workplace, there's ways we have to do things. We've got to have certain information available. It's got to feel like a work environment for us, the people who work in the homes. How do we still make it feel like the home that it is for the people who live there?
How do we do that, Eric? It just happens, really, doesn't it? It is a workplace, and we do have to have things like, for the staff, OH&S posters and, specific PPE equipment that we need. But there are ways in doing that so it doesn't look like a workplace. We have areas in our office for all of that stuff for the staff that we need, and it's good to keep it in there because, like you said, first and foremost, it's their home, and that's why we're there. So we keep it separate. We have separate areas that we have that stuff, and it's about being inventive of how to not make it look like a workplace. And I think we're getting very good at it as well. In the evidence at their new home, you walk in and it's a home and you feel comfortable and it's warm and it's caring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I'm very excited because I've already got an invite from you, Eric, to come and see you in your new home in the new year. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, right. I've already been promised a cup of coffee, which is awesome. And the only thing I would ask of you, Eric, is that you put away the Essendon merchandise when I come, because I'm a Geelong supporter. I've got a few more questions for you, mate. Can I ask you a few more questions?
Yeah.
So you were telling me before that you used to do some work,
Yeah.
but you're retired now.
Yeah.
Were you saying to me earlier, I just want to make sure I get this right, that you used to pack away the egg cartons for your uncle, is that right?
Out there with near the aerodrome, you know.
Oh, near the aerodrome?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And did you enjoy working?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can imagine so. I like my job too, I think. Work is something that that's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so, if I can just ask a few questions about the new builds that we're undertaking. Eric obviously lives in one of our newer places. Can you tell us a little bit about the type of technology that is actually in those places, and how it contributes to keeping our clients comfortable, but also safe in their homes?
So the technology supports people as their needs change. As they get older, their mobility may change, so the house can change with them. So some of the new builds have infrastructure where we can put in hoists and bits of pieces of their own bedrooms and things can change to support those hoists. The technology is it supports people to have their own individualisation there. You know, they can have their own temperature control in their rooms. They also have technology in the fact that in the kitchens there's bench tops that, you know, go up and down to suit the level of height of how, if the person's in a wheelchair or if they're using trolleys or walkers. So it really helps the people be a lot more independent, but it also supports them that they can live life now comfortably and not have to worry about the future. Whereas in some of our older accommodations, it's a bit different. But with the new technology, they don't have to worry about that, so they can live life now and not have that stress to worry about into the future.
I reckon that's so important. But as you mentioned earlier, Anna, and I think it's really important to touch on this, even with all of this fantastic new technology and facilities that are available, we still need to support people to go through the change of actually moving house, which, let's face it, I remember when I moved house, I said to my wife, I'm never doing it again. This is a terrible experience. How do we support people through that change and help them understand that, you know, they are going somewhere new, but it's going to be a great experience and we're going to support them through it? How do we have those conversations?
So when our older homes close, like the one that I was involved in, it starts off talking to the people who will be moving, the residents of the home, and also including a lot with their family. Between the family and ourselves, we reassure people that where they're going is a great opportunity, but we do lots of groundwork first. We have a lot of discussions about why this is happening. We also do multiple visits to the new home. They go in and they chose their own rooms. We showed them where their furniture will be. Also, part of the process is that we have an interior designer that comes out and speaks to the residents that are moving into the new builds. And so she has a chat with them about their colours, their football teams, to make it more personalised to their needs and who they are. So their personalities are already in the home at the time. And when we do move, we have, you know, familiar staff, and the families also come to the house with their siblings or their sons and daughters, and they come with them to see the new home and they share that experience together. So it's a positive move forward. And we explained to them, the new features of the house as well. On the move-in day, we had family, some family with us, to reassure their loved ones that this is a great move. When we got into the home, because we'd laid that groundwork first, and they understood why they were moving in, and the furniture and everything that they chose was there. The day that they moved in, it was like they'd been there for a long time. They sat, they had coffee, they helped moved into their rooms, and complete their own unpacking to make it their own. So they were involved from the first step to the last step. And it's about making it their own home.
And thinking about some of the key messages that we've been talking about today, I imagine being more independent is one of the things that people really look forward to, and that the idea of being able to have more choice, more control, be able to do more
Absolutely.
for themselves is one of those big selling points. But Anna, what might surprise people about working in supported independent living?
I think the diversity of the people who live there, and what they're capable of. Like I was saying earlier, when people first come into our homes to start working, they're surprised at the support and the independence of the people that we work with. I think they'd be surprised at the way that staff who know the residents, how they communicate and how they work together to achieve some pretty wonderful things, pretty amazing things. I think they'd be surprised at how staff work closely with the people that we support in, if somebody's got a love of a garden, how they enhance that with a resident that may enjoy gardening as well, and use their skills together to make a veggie patch or something like that. I think they're surprised at what we can achieve and how we support and how people belong and thrive. And I think people are very surprised that they never really had an understanding to start off with, and when they come in, they really see the work that we do.
Well, look, it really stands out to me, Anna, from talking to both of you today, how absolutely passionate you are about your work. That is obvious, and it's been obvious even before we started recording today. I want to thank you both for being part of the Empower Half Hour. This is only the second episode of the podcast, so you can be our guinea pigs along with the next few people we have on. But look, I really want to thank you, Eric. First and foremost, your effort today has been outstanding. I reckon you've earned yourself a cup of coffee. I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast today. Don't forget to tune in for the next one. And in the meantime, like, share and subscribe. And as always, follow us for more inspiring stories, because there's plenty coming up in 2026. Thank you all.
Thanks for joining us on Empower Half Hour, a podcast by Scope Disability Services. We'll see you next time with another inspiring journey. Until then, take care and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. To discover more about Scope, visit scopeaust.org.au. That's SCOPEAUST.org.au.